Rupert Tindell, a principal suspect in the murder investigation by Superintendent Thorne, has broken through a police cordon, injuring Thorne's assistant, Sergeant Ballantyne. Rupert is now watching Millie Thorne's cottage, where John Field is among the guests at her housewarming party. John, fighting the big takeover bid on behalf of Dinslow Chemicals, is being edged out by his own colleague and rival Dan Maitland, who has also taken over John's girlfriend, Kate. Isabel Makepeace, the murdered man's widow, is hoping to revive her affair with Sir Max Silman, head of the Merchant Bank.
Hi.
Hi.
Would you like a room?
What for?
To spend the night.
No, thanks. The party isn't over, is it?
Well, everyone else is gone.
How did that happen? Well, we must be going. Thanks for a lovely party.
Okay. Fine.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.
I know. She got yes.
It's all over. Do you have a car?
Where's your husband?
I want to talk to your husband.
Liz!
No, it's all right. Don't panic.
Liz!
I just want to talk to your husband. Hey!
Tim!
What the hell? What did you do? What did you do, sir? No! God, it's me, Rupert Tindle! I've got to talk to you. Is he all right? The chap I hit? He's not dead, is he?
Ballantyne? No, he's all right. He'll be as good as new.
Thank God. Well, you can arrest me now if you want to, Superintendent. But I didn't do it. I never even disliked Charles Makepeace.
Your mother thinks you killed him?
Of course she does. Because I told her I did.
Why?
Because my mother's crazy. Haven't you noticed? Her daughter's dead, her husband hanged himself. She's had enough misery. She wanted a scapegoat, Makepeace. She blamed all the family troubles on him. She went on and on and on at me, saying that if I were a man, I'd avenge my father's death. And in the end, I told her I'd done it. I didn't know she'd be making these loony phone calls. I thought I was helping her.
in a couple of years, when she was herself again, I'd tell her the truth.
So why'd you run?
Because you were chasing me. When I found out about the phone calls, I had to go and sort things out on my own. I'm not a killer, Superintendent.
I'll see you again.
Don't be silly, you're married.
I'm not wedded to it.
Oh, very funny.
Let's keep it open, huh?
I don't want to get involved.
Well, we were pretty involved last night, weren't we?
We were, weren't we? Anyway, I'm going to Morocco.
You'll be back.
How can I get in touch with you?
Call me at the bank. Of course, you'd have to be discreet.
Naturally. Mustn't compromise your brilliant career.
No, it's not bad. I'll tell you what, write me a note and leave me a number where I can contact you.
Well, I might, but don't expect it. Oh, I need some sleep.
Yeah, so do I. It was good, wasn't it?
It was rather, wasn't it? John? Hello.
Hello, darling. Sorry I couldn't go back last night. Something came up.
What? What?
Well, what happened was,
Listen, John, I'm just dashing out. I've got to go to the hospital. There's been a bad accident. Evie, it's Daddy, but go downstairs to the car. Go on, I'm serious. I'm late. Look, darling, I'm dropping her off at Josie's, so you can pick her up late, okay?
all right. Anything I can do?
No, there's nothing. Listen, I'll just have to call you later, okay?
All right, darling. I'll see you soon, eh?
Okay, yeah, bye. Okay, take care.
What'll Tindell get?
A good brief will get him off with a suspended sentence. They'll argue we had no right chasing him. We didn't, did we?
You're certain he's innocent?
Yes.
So where do we go from here?
To put it succinctly, Sergeant, I haven't a clue. When are they discharging you?
This afternoon?
Good. I want you to keep an eye on Krishna. Don't know why he or his employer was lying about the night of the break-in. I'm having them watched.
That's good to see you.
Potomac Chemicals, Inc., New Jersey. How big are they?
Yanks taking over.
Why do you think that?
Won't be long before they make a bid for the old country, I reckon.
Now, could you work in dollars?
Name me any sum in any currency, and I'll give you its value in any other. To 3 decimal places.
You're wonderful, Kevin. Do you know that? I'm very impressed with you, son. Now, what about this? Could you print it out?
Patel, we're police officers. We have a warrant to search your premises. At approximately 3:25 this afternoon, your son was seen to hand you a package. I want to know what that package contained.
I cannot tell you about what does not exist. Yes, Krishna did call here. He brought me some jasmine tea, which I am very fond of. It was a present from his master, Musquat Singh, my old friend, who is so... I beg your pardon, Superintendent. If I knew what this was all about, perhaps I could save some time.
Sir. What's in the envelope, Mr. Patel?
I have no idea. Where did it come from? Oh. I don't know. Yeah, all right. It's money. It's money, but it is a present to buy a new television.
Very expensive television, Miss Patel. I would say there were over £2,000 here.
Yes, but you see...
I see that you could be involved in a murder, Mr. Patel.
Murder? No, you don't understand. It is quite different.
Sir, I think you should look at these.
Illegal immigrants. Is that it? Blackmail?
Bad day.
Yeah. Busy. Hello. When did I last see you?
Hungry?
Had a sandwich. I'd like a drink, though. I'd like a large whiskey.
One large whiskey for the doctor.
Purely medicinal.
Hey, come on. Let's go and sit down.
I'm so tired. How's Evie?
Oh, she went down like a lamb.
John, they did need me.
Of course they did.
I mean, if I hadn't have gone in, it would have... Well, it could have been much worse.
Look, I'm very proud of you, right? Very proud.
I do need to work, you know.
It's wonderful work. Makes mine seem a little pointless.
Oh, come off it.
Ah, well, just you wait, you'll see.
One day...
One day what?
Well, this house. I mean, he can't breathe in here anymore. No space.
John, what's the matter with it? It's fine.
Ah, it's all right. But I saw this beautiful place the other day, Georgian. One of our clients, you know. Yes. Walled garden, stream, swimming area.
That's what you want now, is it? Rural grandeur?
If I can swing it, why not?
Well, if that's what you want, you'll get it.
And how did this blackmailer find you?
The price of fame. He saw my photograph in one of the Sunday papers.
To think you've been living with this all these years.
Yes.
And Krishna didn't know?
That his father and I were illegals? No. But when the police started nosing around, I asked Patel, Krishna's father, to pay the money for me.
So? Who is this blackmailer?
A Scottish fisherman. He brought us over on his boat. Unfortunately, there was a terrible storm. And for a long time, I thought Patel and I were the only survivors, till this fisherman turned up and threatened to expose us. So, for the past 10 years, I've had to support him, too.
But you've always looked after Patel because he saved your life in the storm.
Oh, no. He had a much stronger claim. You see, there is an old Eastern saying that if you save somebody's life, then they become your responsibility. I saved his. Great mistake, you know. Because they become like your children. Now, I'll probably be deported, and he'd be allowed to stay because...
Because he has an English son.
Exactly.
You won't be deported.
Oh, Max. Please don't risk trouble on my account. Anyway, I feel rather homesick for India sometimes.
But I need you here.
I can still do your horoscopes. Perhaps I shall divide my life, half of it here and half of it there.
You won't be deported. Let me try and pull a few strings.
It's ironic, you know, Max. That wretched superintendent thought I'd hired someone to kill old Charles. And the truth is, of course, that it was Charles who was always trying to bore me to death.
And that's all you can tell me? A pity. Yes, of course. Now, soon, I hope. Yeah, right, thank you, Colin. Colin Tucker, the pharmaceuticals man.
Look, I'll call you right back, all right? Good. What did he want?
I called him. I thought he might know whether Fane and Browning were doing their hush-hush research for Potomac Chemicals.
Potomac? My dad's bank funded them with some projects in the early 80s, before he retired.
Oh, so it's in the family, is it?
Well...
Well, perhaps you could do some research. Find out if there's any dirt on them. You know, pollution, bad employment records, manufacturing nerve gas, dodgy Pentagon contracts, that kind of thing.
That's dangerous territory. They'd take his bank apart if it gave out that kind of information, and you know it.
It's not like you to refuse a challenge, Dan. Look, because Fane and Browning are having talks with Potomac, there's every reason to believe they're setting up a rival bid. That would explain the Department of Trade's hostility to the Dinslow bid, all that palaver over pharmaceuticals. Remember Westland, Land Rover? The fuss there was when the government favoured the Americans. Look, we've got to stop the party before they get into bed. I know it goes against the grain. We need something on Potomac, Dan.
Well, let's see what I can do.
Well, do take your time, won't you?
I'll let you in on a little secret. We're winning. Campaigns all over bar the shouting.
You and whose army?
And I give a damn about banking and maximizing my income. So I intend to try for the department. Mm-hmm.
I assume you're staking your claim on social connections and family background?
Sir Max wouldn't hire an office boy in those grounds. No, I intend to get the department by winning this takeover battle.
Yeah. All right, now listen, everybody. We can now eliminate Musquat Singh and Rupert Tindell from the inquiries. From now on, I want you to concentrate your attention on John Field, Stella Tyson, and Mrs. Makepeace.
Mrs. Makepeace? What would be her motive for killing her husband? Jealousy?
She's hardly the jealous type. And she'd lived with it for long enough. She didn't give a damn about Stella Tyson. She hardly seemed to care about her husband. Money. It's what ties these people together. It's what they're all about. So let's concentrate the investigation on the financial background.
You know, I worked on the fraud squad. I've got some contacts on the business side.
Good. We'll use them. All right, let's get to it. Oh, Marilyn, could you ring Sir Max Silman's office and make an appointment for me to see him tomorrow?
Oh, Max. It's marvelous to have you here.
But not for too long, my dear. My wife will be wondering.
I'm going to have a cognac. How about you?
After all that wine?
But I've poured one for you. You don't have to drink it. I want us to have a nightcap together.
All right. Down the hatch.
Max, don't tease me. I'm trying to pretend we're really together again.
All right, pretend.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if it were true?
Too much water under the bridge, Isabel.
I could have made you happy, you know.
I'm sure you could.
Are you happy with your wife?
We understand each other.
Oh, it's not enough.
Isabella.
Max, wait, I don't want to embarrass you, but I must say it. If you wanted me again, I would be ready.
Isabel.
No. Don't say anything. Just remember that. It's true, and I think it always will be. Now, let's talk about money. I have a feeling I should start big. Don't you agree?
Isabel, I was thinking about this over dinner. Why bother?
I want to start a business, Max. Are you saying I'm too old to start again?
All I'm saying is it's not necessary. You have a lovely home, you have capital, you have me to advise you. You'll do very nicely by just letting your money work for you.
Are you refusing to invest in me, Max?
Isabel, I'm not a free agent. I have to justify my decisions to shareholders like any other businessman. That's a long time since you started your firm. Times have changed.
I see.
Now, please, don't be too disappointed.
Oh, but I am. Just a bit. It's been a strain all these years with Charles. I've been a good wife. It's all right, Max. You don't want my business and you don't want me. Now I know exactly where I stand.
Now, you'll see, Isabel, with me to advise you,
No.
everything...
If you won't find the money for me, I'll get it somewhere else. I don't think you've ever appreciated just how determined I can be. Well, thank you for a lovely dinner. I did enjoy it. It was almost like old times. Do you think you could see yourself out, please?
You know, she was on the phone for half an hour, so naturally I assumed she wanted to buy.
You've got a customer?
Can I help you?
Well, I don't know, Miss Tyson.
Why don't we go for a walk or coffee or something?
Yes. That'd be nice.
Daphs, could you keep an eye on the store? There's a coffee bar. It's not too bad.
Why don't we just walk?
If you prefer. I would have asked you round to my place, but it didn't seem quite...
You thought I'd be upset at the thought of what you and Charles got up to there?
Well, yes. I would have been.
Well, you're much younger than I am. Look, I want to make it quite clear. I have no feeling of sexual jealousy. Charles and I didn't sleep together. We hadn't done for years.
Oh, I didn't know.
But you do know why I'm here.
Money, the solicitor said.
Perhaps I'm foolish, but I thought I could persuade you better than he could.
Go on.
I want to start a business. I've raised some money and I've called in some debts, but it's not quite enough. Now, I could contest Charles's will. I could say you'd exerted undue influence on him. I mightn't win, but I could hold things up for ages. Now, my proposal is that you accept a smaller, but still substantial, amount of money, and I sign a disclaimer so you can get it right away.
I see.
There's just one thing. I need an answer today.
Look, why don't we have that coffee?
Why not?
Exceptionally vulgar. But quite effective nowadays, I suppose. How's the Phelan Browning share price?
132, I believe, sir.
Well, that doesn't mean a thing at this stage.
No, of course not, sir. You are aware that they're having talks with Potomac Chemicals?
Are you looking into it?
Sir. Had the Department of Trade and Industry on this morning.
Well, they put out?
Well, quite the opposite. Now that we got round the Monopolies Commission, they were anxious to tell me that they had no interest at all in Phelan Browning. In any American bid or in anything at all, come to that. Except keeping their heads down. I didn't believe them, of course.
Yes? But yes, well, tell him I won't keep him a moment. Yes, thank you very much. Sorry, I'm afraid we have to stop now.
Of course. Morning, Superintendent. Still following me?
My man can hardly keep up with you, sir.
right. I've read it. And you do see the implication?
No, I do not.
It means that Father knew what was going on.
Yes, but...
No buts, Mother. He was in cahoots with Fane and Browning. They were dumping illegally together.
What I am trying to tell you is that your father tried to stop it. I remember him complaining bitterly about the drivers cutting corners. He tried to sack some of them.
For God's sake, face it, Mother. Father was really guilty. And Charles Makepeace was not responsible for his death.
Of course he was.
He wasn't. He only blew the whistle. Look, Father was a fine man. We both know that. If he hadn't been, he wouldn't have felt the disgrace so keenly. But he was guilty.
Here, take this. You've got to get away.
Where did all this money come from?
My brooch.
You sold the brooch?
£2,000.
Father gave you that.
I know.
Now you've got nothing.
You've got to get away.
Mother, I didn't kill Charles Makepeace. Don't you understand? I didn't kill him. I had to say I did because you made me. I've always believed you. I always believed Father was innocent. He wasn't, was he?
You lied to me. Oh, God, I might have known.
I lied to you because you went on and on and on and on and on at me. Mother, you've never let me tell you the truth.
We gave the police a good run for their money, didn't we?
% over on bid price. Bloody hell. I need a cigarette.
Hey, hang on a sec. Latest in the takeover panel, Potomac say they have no present intention of making a bid.
The bastards are keeping their options open, aren't they?
Can't really blame them.
Waiting for a bear market, story of my life. They'll slap in a bid when they're good and ready. Probably just in time for Fane and Browning to announce it at their AGM and wipe us off the floor. What the hell are you doing here?
Oh, shareholders meeting, John. I'm the personal representative for one share held by Dinslow.
Since when?
A couple of days ago. I had Dinslow's company secretary arrange it for me. Better grab a seat. Meeting's about to begin.
How did you get on?
Oh, Sir Max is very helpful as far as chivalry allowed. All he would say is that Mrs. Makepeace wants money for her business. How are you getting on with that side of things?
Well, my friends in Wood Street were very helpful. Makepeace's financial affairs were quite complicated. He made many large investments, including a substantial sum to a chemical consultant called Colin Tucker, who turns out to be an old family friend.
What's so strange about that?
At the time, nobody in the city would touch Colin Tucker with a barge pole.
Which brings us to the outstanding takeover bid against us by Dinslow Chemicals. I'm happy to say that you seem to be resisting the blandishments of the predator firm with great fortitude. I should mention that I've heard certain rumors of a bid from another quarter. As I've already stated to the takeover panel, I've had no approach. But I can say that I know the American firm. I've had dealings with them. And I have a high regard for their standards of conduct and ethics. I'm afraid I can't say the same for Dinslow Chemicals. Now, I would like to give shareholders the opportunity to raise any questions they may have. Sir.
My name is Dan Maitland, and I am the personal representative of a holding held by Dinslow Chemical Group Corporation. 3 years ago, Charles Tindell and Son were prosecuted, fined, and closed down for dumping chemical waste. You were one of those firms that employed Charles Tindell. How do you think that squares with your media campaign, Fain and Browning thinks environment?
It was a most unfortunate business. But as you've already implied, many chemical firms employed the services of Charles Tindell.
Would it surprise you to know that Dinslow Chemicals at one point contemplated using Charles Tindell, but after checking them out decided against it?
I was not aware of that.
I have here Dinslow's report on Charles Tindell, and it states, and I quote, "This haulage firm is negligent, repeat, negligent, in the disposal of toxic waste."
I can only repeat that we, in company with many other reputable firms, employed Charles Tindell in good faith.
In good faith, you mean you had no way of knowing what they were going to do with the waste?
None whatsoever.
Oh, yes, you did. All you had to do was ask your own drivers.
I'm sorry, I don't...
In February of the year that Charles Tindell was prosecuted, when you had problems with mounting stocks of cyanide waste, and Charles Tindell hadn't the resources to remove it rapidly enough, you lent them some of your drivers to move it along. Isn't that a fact? I'd like an answer, please. And before you answer, I'd like you to bear in mind that I may have some affidavits here, signed by the drivers, testifying to the truth of what I've just told you. Thank you.
Perhaps some clarification. I'm afraid I will have to reserve comment on this matter until we have taken the advice of our solicitors.
So there were no hitches in your relationship with Mr. Makepeace?
I don't think so. We were a damn good team in the Navy. Of course, in recent years, we hadn't seen much of each other, but we were still good friends. Of course, Charles helped me set up the company. He invested substantially in it.
You had a bad patch about 6 months ago, I believe.
Overextended. Costly research. Some of it a dead end. Had to remortgage the house.
Did you apply to Makepeace for help?
Yes. And he gave it. Well, it took him some time to raise the money, but eventually he put in quite substantial sums.
Do you know about phenelzine, Mr. Tucker?
Is that the poison that killed Charlie? Yes, I know about it. It's prescribed for depression under various brand names. Superintendent, if I wanted to poison someone, I wouldn't use phenelzine.
Oh. What would you use?
One of the new things that hasn't been described in the textbooks yet. There are organic compounds that are quickly metabolized by the body. It might be possible to concoct a cocktail. Be virtually undetectable.
You're clearly an authority, Mr. Tucker. I'm surprised we don't use you as a consultant.
Oh, you do? Well, the Yard does. You're city, aren't you? Superintendent, Charles Makepeace was not only my friend, he was my benefactor. I don't want this to sound wimpish, but I'd have done anything in my power to stop anyone from harming him.
And this letter agreeing to his increase in investment in your firm, when was it dated?
6th, 7th of June.
A week before he died?
That's right.
And do you have it on file? May I see it?
Of course.
Congratulations, Mr. Field.
Thank you. Well done, Gus. On the right side, as usual.
Congratulations. Oh, thank you, John. Just used a little social contact to pull it off.
Well, you've won us the campaign. I'm sure we'll all benefit.
Well, you did a lot of the spade work and you torpedoed the demos. It was all very useful.
Where did you get your information? And why didn't you tell me?
Kate! Tell you over a drink.
Well done.
Yeah. What's your verdict?
The Tomac will back off. And Fane and Browning shares will come down with a bump. Tomorrow you'll get a nice batch of acceptances.
Yeah, took the wind out of their sails, didn't I?
Do you think you'll get the department?
I think so. I think I won the campaign.
What about John?
What about him?
Won't it be a blow to him?
Very likely, but name of a rough game.
Too rough for him. I mean, how could he possibly compete with the great Daniel Maitland?
Well, the way you're talking, you'd think he meant a hell of a lot to you.
Oh, don't be silly.
Come on, let's get a drink.
Funny. I should have hated her, but I didn't.
Some people would say she should have hated you. After all, she was his wife.
What I'm trying to say is, we liked each other.
Is that the reason why you accepted a smaller sum than you were left in the Makepeace will?
I suppose so. She had more right to the money. After all, she was his wife.
But he just proposed to you, hadn't he?
Right, but that was for old time's sake. We talked about it so often, and finally he made it a formal offer.
And that was after you had lunch in Wendover. You drove back along the London Road and you stopped to admire the view.
Right.
And Mr. Makepeace pointed out the house where Daisy Wilson, the playwright, lived. A folly shaped like a pyramid.
Yes, very weird house.
And then he proposed to you and you drank a toast out of his hip flask.
Yes.
Do you remember the name of the restaurant?
Yes, it was a super place. It was called the Elm Tree. No, the Cherry Tree. It was just on the corner opposite the town hall.
Did you have any other men friends apart from Mr. Makepeace?
How do you mean?
I'm asking you about your relationships with other men, Miss Tyson.
What are you implying?
I'm trying to get at the reason for the very rapid acceptance of Mrs. Makepeace's offer.
I've given you my reason.
You didn't feel that if her lawyers started digging, they might uncover evidence which would make it easy for her to get your bequest annulled?
No, I did not.
If you had been sleeping around...
But I hadn't been sleeping around. I loved Charlie.
But if you had... Well, that would explain the coolness of your relationship with Mr. Makepeace towards the end. Yes?
Where are you? I'd roasted a duck.
A duck?
A duck with black cherries? To eat?
Well, why'd you do that?
You said you'd be home by 10. It's after midnight.
I said I'd be late.
You did not.
Well, look, I'm sorry. I can't knock off now.
You knock off now, or I get myself a ticket home to Boston, and I spend the rest of the summer with people who will make time for me. Damn it, Lance, even on the weekends, you're still...
All right. All right. Look, tomorrow's Saturday.
So?
So I agree. We don't see enough of one another. Why don't we go out to the country, have lunch? There's a little restaurant I've heard about. Okay.
Okay.
was a really nice villa. And you can swim and fish and... Well, what do you think?
Oh, it sounds good. I'll have to try and set aside some time.
They own the whole island, so we could be all by ourselves. If you could only get away.
I'll try. Is it the sort of place a man would take his mistress to propose to her?
Oh, I don't think I believe this. You didn't take me to lunch, did you? You're doing some goddamn reconstruction, right?
Take it easy, Millie. I'm just trying to kill two birds with one...
Oh, well, if you keep this up, you're going to kill this particular bird, period.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, let's cut along to the local beauty spot, shall we? So, what do you think?
Oh, it's a beautiful view. So, what's the significance?
This is where the victim proposed to his mistress. According to her. They drank a toast from his hip flask. And later that evening, someone broke into their London home and laced it with poison.
Well, maybe she slipped the poison into the flask after they had the toast.
And then she presumably broke into the flat to try and throw the blame on someone else.
Well, maybe she had second thoughts and tried to get it back. Okay, dumb idea. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs.
No, of course you don't.
Where is this pyramid?
Pyramid?
Folly, shaped like a pyramid. Can't see anything, can you? Excuse me.
Yes.
Do you know this area?
Should do. I've done this round for 3 years.
Someone told me about a house, Folly, shaped like a pyramid.
Yes, it's just down there.
I'm sorry, I can't see anything.
You can't see it from here. It's hidden by the trees. If you want to see it, you'll have to go down the lane just past the curve. It's about a mile and a half. You can see it in winter from here.
See it in winter.